Hello and welcome to the very first Kevy Cam. This video is a tour of my humongous t-hangar in Lexington, Kentucky. Shaped like a T, named after a T, and I think that's why they call it a t-hangar. A little windy today, so I'm going to do most of the video inside because the wind is messing with my microphone. Why am I calling this a Kevy Cam? Well, I'm trying to copy the Kermit cam that Kermit Weeks does. The only difference between him and me are a whole bunch of millions of dollars. He looks more handsome than I do, and he has a lot cooler airplanes than I do. But I have one cool airplane. You're looking at it now. It's a Cessna 140, 1946. I like to think it's one of the first ones built, but I haven't researched the serial number well enough yet. This left wing you're looking at has been totally refabricated over the past 2 years, mainly by people who know what they're doing at the airport that helped me immensely, and a little bit by me. I go get them coffee and things like that. Anyway, we'll get back to the airplane in a minute. First of all, we'll do a walk around through my hangar, which I'm sure you'll be fascinated by. You've been to hangars before, but you've never been in mine, so welcome. Here's the strut we replaced. Here's the spar we replaced. This is why other people work on my airplane and not me usually. The spar was damaged, so that's the original spar from the original left wing that is now sitting in my hangar that I have no idea what to do with. Various junk on the floor, more airplane, go around the hangar here. Back wall's very fascinating. I'm going to show you my engine preheat system. Feel free to copy it. It's a $7 blow dryer from Korea with scat tube attached to it. It worked great this winter. Over to my back wall, has my name on it, in case I forget what it is. Temperature gauge, this is interesting today. It's 70 degrees in the hangar. This is the one day in the entire year it's going to be 70 degrees in the hangar. Normally it's either 10 above or 105 degrees. Table with various junk. I'm sure you all have a table with junk on it in your hangar. Some of mine's expensive, some of it's cheap, some of it I have no idea what it is, so I save it on this table in my hangar. Toolbox, full of tools, not particularly well organized. Tool table. Filing cabinet. I know this doesn't sound like much. Bottom drawer has important paper towels in it. Upper drawer is full of snacks, Doritos, candy bars, and various other things that help you survive in a t-hangar environment. Topped, of course, by red Solo cups, handy for drinking, also a great backup, and can be a unisex bathroom on demand. Not that that's ever happened here that I'll admit to, although we are 300 or 400 yards from the nearest real bathroom. Social area in my hangar. I've worked minutes on getting this correct. Leather couch, love seat, donated to me by a furniture store owner. It's lovely. You can see my refrigerator in the background. Every hangar has to have a refrigerator. I think it's state law in Kentucky. It should be an FAR. The ubiquitous lawn chairs. And there you go. Any retired airline pilot's dream, a lazy boy recliner in a hangar. I've spent more time in lazy boy recliners probably than I have in airplanes during my career at various garden spots like Shreveport, Jackson, Mississippi, Tulsa, Oklahoma, you know, your better pilot lounges. Great place to take a nap. Okay, over to the airplane, back to my 140. Got the mighty 85 horsepower engine, just like the Air Coupe. It's pretty much got the same propeller an Air Coupe has, and believe it or not, except for the fact it's a tail dragger, once it's in the air, it kind of smells and bounces through the air like an Air Coupe. The 140 is a great tail dragger, especially if you're new at tail draggers, which I'm not. I've flown a lot of tail draggers, but now that I'm old, I'm glad I have a simple one to fly. You can see over the nose with that S turning when you taxi. Very fuel efficient, only burns a little over 5 gallons an hour. The major problem people have, they say, is it noses over if you hit the brakes too hard. I don't think I've ever touched the brakes on this airplane, except maybe a little bit when I come to a stop taxiing. On a landing, it'll roll to a stop all by itself in hardly any space at all. Big giant Venturi tube. Used to be attached to my suction instruments. I removed my suction instruments last week and put in an electronic panel. That'll be another video we do in the future. Let's walk back to my tail beacon. We solved the ADS-B out problem, I did, by installing a tail beacon. I think you read an article about that a few months ago. Instructions said it would take about 15 minutes to install, so of course it took me 9.5 hours. But it works. It's one of the few things I've ever installed that worked on the first try, so I'm very happy about that. A little bit more. That's spare parts from one of the 3 wings we had to take apart to fabricate our left wing to put the airplane back together. I have no idea what I'm going to do with all these spare parts, so I just leave them in my hangar. That's kind of the tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you fast forwarded through the dull parts, because we're almost at the end. Oh, there's my hangar cooling system. One last look at my airplane, which, by the way, most airplanes are named after females. Mine's named Walt, after my dad, Walt Garrison, who passed away about 4 years ago now. He paid for this out of the money he left me, so I thought it was okay to name it after him. He was an airplane mechanic in the Navy during World War II. So anyway, that's the tour. We'll see you next time. We'll talk probably about instrument flying, maybe about my panel, or maybe we'll just sit in my social area in my hangar and have a beer. We'll talk to you later.